Welcome to another exciting edition to Grove City Hockey Presents
Hockey in our neck of the woods, and you, sir, were a very talked about person towards the end.
I'm a fifth-year senior, kind of. Well, it's my sixth year of college. Incredible.
Hey guys, we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Cut Shield, for bringing you this episode. Make sure you check them out on the link below and use the promo code for 25% off your order. Used by all 32 NHL teams and players, Cut Shield is the premier protective player clothing designed by players for players. Their innovative cut-resistant clothing has prevented serious injury to numerous players, including over 30 NHL players. Cut Shield gives you the peace of mind to go out and play without worrying about injury. Use our promo code Grove City Hockey, all lowercase and no space, for an additional 25% off your order today. Welcome to GCH Podcast. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock, and with me is Chris Maniaci. I butchered it already. And Zach Morey. Both we had the team captain and the assistant captain of the Grand Rapids Brewsaders. How you guys doing tonight?
Good, Ben. How are you?
Oh, living the dream. Zach, how about you, bud?
Doing pretty good. How about you, Ben?
We're hanging in there. All right. So you guys took home the T4B championships at Fraser just a few weeks back. Tell us a little bit about that, how you guys felt coming into the championships.
Honestly, Zach, I don't know. We were a little bit unsure going into it. Zach was not feeling too well, so we were thinking we were going to be without him, so we didn't really know how that was going to go. So we had the rest of our guys, and I think overall, based off the last couple of tournaments that we've played in, we felt pretty good going into it. We seemed to get kind of a rhythm going into that with the last two Fort Wayne tournaments, but I think as the weekend kind of went on, we just kind of kept getting our stride a little bit more, and we kept gelling a little bit more, and it just kind of worked in our favor towards the end. So.
Yeah, and you guys took on the Mid-Michigan Saints, and you guys beat them earlier in the season 3-2. Were you guys expecting the game to be just as close in the championship game, at Fraser?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, go ahead, Zach.
This one for you because I wasn't there. I only played one game on Saturday because I was sick. So.
Yeah, I mean, but better. As best as we all do. We always play tough games against the Saints. That they have a really good team. We always have a tough time with their goalie too. Their goalie's a really good goalie. We always have an issue scoring. I think we beat them both games 3-2. So I think both games were really
very,
tight.
very close.
Yeah, I think both games were really tight, and it's not like they were. I think pretty sure they were dirty goals too. So it was one of those tight games towards the end of the game. Like I said, it's always a tight game, and I always enjoy playing them too because it's always a competitive game, and they're just a good team overall.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys ended the season. You guys finished in sixth place, but you guys captured that T4B championship. Your record: you had 19 games. You guys played. You guys won 12 of those, lost 7. You guys were at a plus 17 though, so that's actually really good.
That's kind of weird too because we always struggle to score goals. So
right. Well, but you guys are keeping them out of the penalty box too. You guys were keeping them out of the your own goal too. Eddie Harris came up pretty big for you guys on quite a few occasions, especially that Saturday at that championship game weekend.
Yeah, Eddie kept us in a lot of games this year because we've always struggled to score goals. So
yeah, he's always been solid.
Yeah, he's always a rock on our team.
Yeah. So what are you guys' plans for the future? Are you guys coming back to defend this title?
Yeah, thankfully we're actually bringing back all of our guys, so that'll be nice to see all 10 of the guys that were at the championship weekend were actually able to come back. So I think that might be the first time, Zach, correct me if I'm wrong, in a couple seasons that we've actually been able to bring back all of our guys, and they've been committed to coming back for all pretty much 4 tournaments too. So that'll be nice. We were actually able to gel towards the end of the season, and honestly, hopefully able to get to the T4A championship instead of the T4B championship. So
right. Yeah. So now you guys have a little bit of a interesting situation, considering that you guys don't have a full-time rink to play anymore on the west side here in Michigan. Tell us what kind of challenges you guys have been facing with that, and then how do you guys prepare for your tournaments before Georgetown finally opens up for the season?
We play ice in the winter, but I mean that's a whole different game than roller, so that kind of is hard. And a lot of the guys didn't normally play ice when they were younger growing up. They all just stuck to roller. So even our goalie, he doesn't really like ice either, Eddie. So we just kind of stagger the tournaments out. That's what we try to do. Try to get them in there, and hopefully Georgetown opens up, and we can at least like rent the floor out 1 or 2 times before we go to one of them at least.
Right.
So that's the
we
main
during the summer and during the springtime we play over at Griff's Georgetown in Hudsonville, where they melt the ice down. So we play on their finished cement out there. So, I mean, to Zach's point, neither ice or really Georgetown is, really the same thing as playing on sport court or something like that, because it's not the same,
Right.
Not the same feeling on the wheels. So a little bit different, but we try and make do. Hopefully, just still holding out hope that someone's going to come out and make or put a rink together out here at some point. So,
well,
so we get the floor next year. They said no matter what.
Little birdie tells me that they're working really hard on getting you guys a floor over there. So, she just keeps showing up weekly because that's what's going to garner that interest to want to put that investment in there for you guys. So,
somebody look at possibly building a full-time building for.
That'd be cool.
He has the teams for that though. Right now, there's only 8 teams, 2 nights a week,
right.
4 each night. So.
Yeah, but it's not terrible. I mean, you got to start somewhere. I mean, you can always, get some box lacrosse or some futsal going on. I know it's kind of tough when you have to use the rink as a multi-use facility. But whatever brings in the revenue to keep the building afloat is probably what's going to happen for a little bit. So what, let's see, how do I want to ask this? So, with that championship, with the championship that you guys just won, how do you guys feel about, with where you guys are at within the tier system? How do you guys, is there anything that you guys would like to see differently, as far as the way that the league is structured, in MyHa?
I think Carl's got to bounce up pretty good right now, to be honest with you. The season before last, Chris can comment on that. There was a team that had a guy that I think he played like T2, and he was playing T4, so that was kind of a little something.
Well, I think you have a couple of players that are playing down in T. Well, you have a couple of T2 players playing down in T3. I didn't know anything about the T2 player playing in T4 though. That's unusual. But it also depends though too. What's that?
I think you just subbed twice.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad, But if you're getting, a guy that, like Mike Francis, he just won the world's gold medal at the Masters. If you get him and you throw him down in T4, that's probably a no-go.
Right.
Different.
Yeah, but no, I agree. Overall agree with Zach. I think Carl's got a nice job of balancing out the leagues. I mean, it's all of the games that we've played in T4 for the most part were pretty competitive, I'd say, this tournament season.
I don't think you guys got blown out by, if any, it was by, I think 3 goals was the max that I saw. Just on a quick run through of what you had as far as your scores go.
Yeah, and I think the only team that we lost by 3 goals, we ended up turning around and beating this past championship weekend. I think it was the Pigeons, if I remember correctly, which is also a good team too. But
very, very good team. They were the only team to beat the Chicago Triple P, and they did it twice.
Right. Yeah, I'll be curious to see what they end up doing too. If they end up only having 2 losses, I don't know if they're planning on moving up either with with the stuff that Carl's trying to do with adding guys and all that kind of stuff too, or adding different guys from different leagues and stuff?
Yeah, I know. I know. I have an interview with Carl tomorrow night, and so that's kind of a couple of the questions that I was going to ask him is, which teams does he see moving up? Which teams he wants to see move down? Is there any new tiers going to be developing, like this mythical tier 5 that I've been hearing about, or the tier 6, but who knows what's going to happen with that. Everything's kind of in this, thrown up in the air. I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with the youth side. Sounds like there's something going on with that as well here for the next season, which is going to be kind of really cool to see how that shapes up. Had a chance to talk to Farinelli about that last night. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean that's one way that we've always talked about trying to rebuild the roller hockey scene out in the west side here is starting on the youth side of things, because the same teams are playing over and over again, on Tuesdays and Thursdays over at Georgetown. So to kind of start to expand.
Now,
go ahead. Sorry.
Is it still the same teams essentially that was playing at Rivertown?
I mean, there's
with like a couple of college kids teams.
There's a college kid team that's out there right now that we play on Tuesdays, and then and Zach, you'll have to hold me to this. I would say there's maybe 2 other teams or something like that on Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's basically 3 house teams on Thursdays, and then Founders went from Rivertown to Georgetown.
Okay.
But even the house teams on Thursday kind of filled with a lot of the guys that played at Rivertown.
Okay.
Some guys that don't really belong in that. It's supposed to be a beginner league.
Right.
But they just need to fill the rosters out, so they kind of went that way. So
yeah. So so what are you guys going to do to prepare for this off season, going into this next season?
Right now, we just got Georgetown going right now once a week, and basically all the teams that we're playing there are probably a level above us. So that's kind of actually good for us, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Playing teams that should be T3 and up, guys that have played T2. Now you got like Norm and guys like that out there. So
yeah,
I think it actually helps us playing those guys. It's only till August, I think, Chris, but.
Yeah, I think
that helps.
Yeah, I mean that league definitely keeps us honest. So it's nice because, like you said, Ben, there's college kids in there that probably skate a little bit faster than we do nowadays. So we have to keep up with them a little bit more. But then you also got the other guys that we've skated against for a really long time, and honestly, it's always competitive games no matter when we play them. So it's always nice to have that, because like Zach said, we don't have much of it outside of just these leagues. So. Not being able to play year round in Miha or have a league at all or have a rink to play at year round. It's nice to play a league up so we stay, at least somewhat competitive.
Absolutely. So here's a question for you. Now, would you guys like to see like a relegation or promotion type system set up in Miha where like so let's say like the bottom 4 teams get dropped down and the top 3 teams get bumped up? To try to kind of help out with the league parity between the T4 division and the T3 division?
Kind of sounded like that was already going to happen, wasn't it, Chris?
I mean, I think it was kind of up to like a decision, like if they wanted to do it or not. I think.
Right.
I think that I guess it just depends on the situation. If you're going to end up if you're going to bring back the exact same team and you went 16, 17, whatever it is, and then you should probably consider going up, because if I'm being honest with you, it wouldn't necessarily be fun to just keep playing in that league if you're just going to continue. I guess it also depends on the scores, but like if you're going to continue to play teams that you're just beating up on or whatever throughout the entire season. So I think if at that point, and on the same token, if it's not any fun to just get beat every single season or every single tournament and have to drive home not winning anything.
Right.
I don't know. I
think this team is talking about moving down to T4. Like nothing. I know that they were having a hard time adding guys. They couldn't get anybody. Like Carl was saying that they couldn't add certain guys that they were trying to add. I don't think I think they won one game and by forfeit.
Which team was that?
So that's were they the Beer City Growlers or what? They're both
the Beer City Growlers. Norm's team. Yeah, Norm's team. Yeah, they dropped. They went 0-16. I think they did this year. Hang on, let me see. It's right here.
Yeah, I think they're talking about dropping on the T4. Actually, I think.
Yeah, they went 0. They went 0-12. So, yeah, those guys. I had Mike on a little while ago. For probably a couple months ago, and he was saying that they wanted to drop down, but they're, pride gets in the way, and it's one of those things where sometimes it's hard to take that step back. But they have a solid team. It's just tough when you guys aren't playing year round. You guys are kind of the exception to that rule.
Well, but we had a huge bump in the road too. When we first lost Rivertown, Zach. I don't remember what year it was. Was it 2020 or was it 2021 that we had like a terrible season that we just didn't end up going anywhere? Maybe it was last year actually. We missed the playoffs and we didn't even I think we were under 500 if I remember correctly too. So, I think it's just I wouldn't honestly even if Norm's team stayed in that T3 division, I wouldn't be surprised if they had a turnaround season where they ended up winning a ton more games, because I feel like they probably had some guys that could make tournaments and stuff that kind of held them back in that sense too. So I feel like even if they stayed, they would win probably a hell of a lot more games than they did this past season.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And all it takes is one or two players. I think if you take that Chicago Triple P team, which had 117 goals for, only 47 goals against, I think if you take out Mark Orr as their goaltender, that's a completely different team, and they're getting lit up because they were letting shots in left and right.
Yeah, I could see that. Like Chris said with Norm's team, guys on that team that could probably play T2 if they wanted to. So,
yeah, in fact, I think Styles was playing T2 last year, if I'm not mistaken.
I do understand on the same token, though, that going 0-12, something like that. Like Chris said, I'm not trying to drive all over the place and get smoked every game. So,
yeah, absolutely. All right, you guys got any questions for me?
I don't think I have anything. You got anything, Chris?
No, I don't think so. Glad that we could be on here actually winning something for once and not missing the playoffs like we did last year, right, Zach?
Right.
Yeah, no, we just got to try to get an A, I guess.
Yeah. So now you guys won the championship. You guys are all coming back. You guys are going to defend your title. I know they haven't really set out, which tournaments they're going to do. Do you guys have a plan, a preference of when you guys like to play your games? Do you like to do like on the back half end of the schedule where you get all 4 of your tournaments in almost like in the last 4 months of the season, or do you like to space it out a little bit?
We've tried it in different ways, over the years, but I think this past season, from what I could tell with guys, it worked really well. We ended up doing our first tournament was the beginning of January, and we did it in Detroit, and then I think our second one was at the end of January, and then we did 2 in Fort Wayne in April. So I think collectively our the overall favorite tournament's probably Fort Wayne. We all end up getting an Airbnb out there that fits everybody, but fits all of us. So it ends up turning out to be a good weekend. But I think we'll probably end up, unless some things change with guys not being able to make certain tournaments, we'll probably end up doing something similar as long as Carl structures it, similarly. With us not having a rink out here, we usually want to keep it as close to us as possible. So, Detroit and Fort Wayne are both 2.5 hours away, give or take. So,
right. Now, did you guys make the trip to Chicago? Because that's about 2.5 hours your way too.
We talked about that one too. Normally that one's
we only made that one the first year, Chris.
Yeah, we did. I think that was honestly the first tournament that I think we did in for the tournaments or for Miyah. But We talked about some. I think there's a couple of guys that talked about it. What's that?
I said I'm pretty sure we got rocked too.
Yeah, we got run. I think we lost all of them, and I think we were out of there by probably like 8:00 in the morning, maybe, or something like that. It was an early day.
It was not good.
No.
Well, but that gives you a chance to hey, it just wasn't our weekend that weekend, but man, you guys come back and you take them out in Detroit, a couple weeks later. Right. So. It's that just goes to show the level of the parity in this league, in this division, is that it doesn't take much to you can just have a couple of bad a bad game. Zach could not be feeling well. Chris gets a Charlie horse, and next thing you know you're down 4 goals, and then you come back and play him in the next game on Sunday, and you're dominating 6-1, 7-1.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nice thing about having the 2 days worth of tournaments, too, is that sometimes you get the opportunity to play these teams twice, especially if you have a close game and you end up losing the first one or something along those lines. You usually get a decent chance for, redemption or whatever. So it's usually nice to have that. And like I said before, there's at least this last season, I don't really remember there not being a competitive game. So it was nice to have that competition amongst all the teams. So hopefully it continues. It sounds like there's a lot of, I think you said like 12 to 15 teams want to get added this upcoming year or something like that. So there's a lot of interest.
I actually think that number is a little higher now.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, wow. So, I mean, it's good that there's a lot of interest. I don't know where the hell he's going to put all the teams, but more power to him. I mean,
I think that interest is like at the bottom half of the T4 division. And then I think that's where they're going to start up that T5, that tier 5 division is going to start to explode pretty soon too.
Do you know if there's any other, any other teams like in this area, like out of like Muskegon area or Grand Rapids or like anything on the west side?
I haven't heard anything yet, but that doesn't mean I'm not looking. I'm always asking. I'm always trying to figure it out. Hey, who's playing, where they're from, and trying to get as much information as I possibly can. You guys know that I'll probably be one of the first ones to find out, if there's some new teams popping up this way. So just give me a little bit of time to do some investigative work, and I'll keep you guys posted.
Cool.
Send them to Georgetown. Find them.
What'd you say, Zach?
Said send them to Georgetown if you find them.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Right.
I know it'd be nice to get some roller hockey back on the west side full time year round. I know I miss being at the rink too. But so it's just one of those things where
I think we took it for granted for a little while there because we for years had heard it was going to close and we never actually thought it was going to happen. And then when it finally happened, we were like, oh well, it's fine. And then it's like, especially with the pandemic, because that would have been the one place that no one would have cared that we were at. We could have just went there and played hockey during the entire time that we were locked down. So
yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean when you say it like that too. So I was like, yep, that's true, because that place was an interesting, and I love that environment, to be honest with you. I know that some of the guys are, especially the early MyHa days, there were lots of complaints about the roof and the floor, but once they replaced the floor, it was actually a pretty decent place to play at.
Yeah, I mean, we always joke about it. We still talk about it. And like if there's water out in the corner or something like that at a rink that we're playing at in any of these tournaments or whatever, we feel like we're at home again. Being at Rivertown. So it's we still joke about it, and we lived it for such a long time that I think, like I said, we eventually took it for granted when it was still there. But I know Zach probably wishes it was still there because I know he has to drive a hell of a lot longer now to get to Georgetown, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you're driving from Three Rivers now, right?
Yeah, I drive all the way from Three Rivers. Okay. That's 40 minutes.
That's crazy. I used to live in Three Rivers.
Hour and 40 minutes one way. So
yeah, that's
keep doing it no matter what.
Yeah, talk about commitment, right?
Yeah, you can't fault them for that.
No.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when you really have like that's literally the only rink that's closest to you. You know, I mean, there might be one in South Bend, but you know, who wants to go play hockey in Indiana?
Right.
Yeah, I mean the Fort Wayne rinks is not that far from me either, but I mean
No.
I've been playing with these guys for what 10+ years probably. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that and you guys are winning championships too, so you know that's always good. So now the Georgetown, how's the competitiveness with in that division for you guys?
for us, on a game, so for us it's not great, but I would say that.
Go ahead, Zach.
I would say that most of those teams, like I said before, are probably like a tier above us. I mean, we're competitive with them. We're not getting blown out or anything, but they're probably a leg above us, especially that team that's got the college kids on there. Like Chris said, they got some young legs, and I think we're all going the other way right now. So,
Right.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's mostly T3 teams. You know, there's guys that play in Mija there, like, you know, the Beer City Growlers, like we just talked about, plus the couple guys from
the Grand Rapids Growlers.
The other Growlers, the Great Lakes Growlers, or whatever it is. Yeah,
Great Lakes. That's it. Yep, Great Lakes.
Jaren's team. Yeah, Jaren's team. So there's that team there too. So they're always competitive games. But like Zach said, we're not getting blown out. We probably just, you know, a little bit of a leg up on us. But it's nice to have competitive games. You know, to keep us going, and you know, we're not, you know, keep moving. So
Cool. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode. We're running out of time. So, but yeah, no, I just want to take a time to thank Chris, thank Zach for joining me tonight. And, you know, we look forward to seeing you guys play again this coming year, defending your title in the T4B championship.
we'll do. Thanks, Ben.